Oh my god, I almost had a heart attack. It said like no saved games when I first loaded it in. I was like, wait, no saved games? And then it popped up, like my saved game came up after like 3 seconds. But fuck me, I was like, oh god, if I lose all my progress, I'm not starting a new Let's Play. Okay, let's see. Yeah, my plan for today is just to do the main mission. So that's what we're gonna do. Because I need to double check. Yeah, because I've healed everyone outside of their like migraines. And her, which I can't get access to yet. Alright.
Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? This district seems to get uglier every year.
What? What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover
Oh.
who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
We'll distribute flowers this hour tonight.
Okay, he's going outside. Okay, I'll be able to sneak on him from here. Or not. Oh, there we go.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Oh, good job.
How could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes.
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
Okay, new hint.
I must...
And I wonder if I'll... Yeah, he has bronchitis. I think I can help that. Let's see. Yes, I
Talk to
can.
that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Alright, yeah. I mean, let's talk to the guy who's the closest. Or do I need to talk to both? I don't know.
Trickery! You are blinded by your false faith!
Find Clayton. Oh. Okay, he was inside that area. Okay. Okay, I will say one thing about this game. I kinda like it, in which you get here to the area, but then it doesn't tell you exactly where they are in the area. You need to kinda like find them yourself. So, oh yeah, this is the safe house which I can't enter. It's Cadigan. Where the fuck are you, Clayton?
When science fails you, this elixir.
I know Clayton is like the black guy. Yeah, he was here. Like near the prostitute, but... Huh. Has he gone missing? Let me ask you.
Good evening, Kristen.
Change your...
Nope,
Goodbye.
nothing. That's Joe Peterson, that's your son. There he is.
But the punishment of a divine will.
Okay, hello.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Let me see. Do I have any personal things to ask you? Nope. Okay, let's talk to him.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Let's see. It's let's say it's confidential. But then he's a journalist, right? He's like, hey man, give me something, and I'll give you something. Let's say, yeah, sorry, it's confidential.
It's confidential. Speaking as a doctor, I'm sure you understand.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby.
Alright, so he already knew about
What do you
that.
know
Smart,
of her
smart.
accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No.
Not that I know
Except for that
know
strange
about.
man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
And did you look at the letter?
I still have...
I don't know much about...
Goodbye.
Find a mailbox, yes. So you didn't actually check that out.
Pay me a glass and I'll...
What kind of journalist are you? Okay, I could jump up here. But what good did that do for me? Maybe later someone will be in here and I'll be able to spy on them. Okay, well, here's the mailbox. My dearest, most beloved children, I'm sorry. I am so sorry you have not heard from me for a few months. The situation in London has been difficult. I know it may sound selfish and silly when you, my children, are still living in a country consumed by war. But there is also a war going on here in England. A war against poverty and against injustice. This is a war I intend to fight despite my advanced years. This is why I'm writing to you today. I won't be coming back to Romania. That probably means I won't see you again before I die. Don't be sad, my darlings. You are grown up now and you have children of your own. You know the sacrifice we sometimes must accept to make the world a better place. This is one I must make now, to feel useful for one more time. I wish you a long and happy life. Kiss my grandchildren for me and remember that your father loves you all the way from this cold, damp country.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Yes. Let's see. Can
Hello
I?
again, miss. Very well.
Okay, nothing. But it does seem like maybe she's not. She's self-imposed mute. Like
Good
she
evening,
just
Mr.
refuses to
And
talk.
good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
About nurse Dorothy Crane.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
Well, what about Darius?
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu. Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons.
All
Those
right.
communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
All right. Yeah, he's a publisher, but only of, you know, specifically, I guess, communist propaganda instead of whatever propaganda this guy wants to push. All
I'll
right.
leave you alone, sir. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
And also, you know, we can cure his bronchitis. I'm sure he would like that. He would appreciate it. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo. Alright, bitch, let me in. I actually thought we would mesmerize him at first.
Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
Okay, we can mesmerize him, but we don't have the
Sir, wait.
mesmerize level.
Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Well, I think you are going to regret it. As I steal from you. Thank you for the bottle of gin. Large box of pills, some shilling. Oh. Some more shillings. Like this is what me, the esteemed doctor's doing. Okay, a letter.
It's locked, all right.
It's locked. On my many journeys, I believe I was the most amazed by my exploration of the Mediterranean Isles. Santorini, alright, yeah, it's beautiful. Alright. The Greeks call him Vrikolakas. Vrikolakas. Alright. Now, let's talk again.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
Alright. Well, you know what,
Do you
let
need
me
some help, Mr. Petrescu?
help you
I'm very
first.
tired, but that is all. I don't need you, Doctor.
Give him the medicine.
Well, I think you do. Take this, and you'll feel better.
Free drugs from an English doctor. It must be my lucky day.
Because it's like, oh yeah, you guys are expensive, but you're better than our. Alright, let's ask about her real name.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane.
Like myself and many people in this area, Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can
And,
imagine.
you know, it's pretty
The West
similar.
End
I mean, she's
does
just
not want to hear of Whitechapel's
anglicized,
misery. Dorothea
anglified
is one of
her
the few
name.
doing something about it.
Tell me about Camellia.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr.
It's like, no, I'm too
Don't
old.
be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Yeah. Why do you think that?
Really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family.
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Well, then, I mean, he did
Tell me-
kind of tell us why he's not publishing his work.
Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works,
He's a
Darius?
poor writer.
Yes, his manuscript is as pompous as he is starched. Now there's a man who loves the sound of his own voice.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
Let's ask him
Do
about
you
his
have
family.
a family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children?
I
or
mean, he does have
grandchildren?
children and grandchildren in Romania.
I have abandoned
Yeah,
my
but they might
people
be dead.
for so long they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
And also, you know... let's say, my father left us too.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
Alright, so you left Romania to escape that war. But you're gonna start a war now in Britain and die in that war.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
So he's talking about like the Central Powers, I guess? Was Romania part of the Central Powers? I don't know. I know they were part of the Axis, but...
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country.
He's like, no.
It's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
Yeah, and you were right. There is a dark future. Okay, well this is still lighting up.
You say...
Well,
Are you...
don't.
Okay. I wonder why it's still, you know. Oh well. Thank you.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
So I wonder how I increase my mesmerize level. Okay, nice. I unlocked that, so I don't need to go through that guy's door all the time. And the same here. Okay, good. Let's go in. Hello, Dorothy. Sure you didn't expect me here? Let me just steal some of the medical supplies. And some money. Oh, 6 watery sturdy blood samples. Why do you have so many? Are you harboring vampires and skulls? Okay. Someone is up there, but I can't see Dorothy. Oh, there she is.
I need help. He's going into convulsions.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Patient Raz Van Vasily, high fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain, diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort, liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Anything else I should know? It seems that maybe he's on the early stages of becoming a skull.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
Let's see. I must perform a... Let's say what we will do.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy? Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Let's ask her. What would you suggest?
Right then, Nurse Crane. What do you suggest we do?
I've no idea. I'm not the doctor.
Time is of the essence. We need to perform a thoracic drain.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, so it's like... Do you have the things I need to do? I mean, we look
He's still
very...
bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see.
I must suture... Let me finish alone. No, let's say I must suture the artery.
I must first suture the artery.
Okay,
Find the wound.
because we are really like starving for blood, I
Source
guess.
Of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor!
Oh god, cardiac massage. Let's do that. Because, I mean, we have a hole in all
Dose
into
of
him.
epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor.
I don't know if pumping him would help.
We've lost the pulse.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
Yeah, this was skull thing.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners.
So let's see. A blood sample gathered from Razvan's corpse. Yeah, I am not here for that.
So what do I owe this courtesy?
I am here to ask you, why are you
I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us.
blackmailing?
So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
Let's say I've come to stop the blackmail.
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
Let's ask, why are you targeting her?
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Let's see. Do I have a hint here? The thing is that I'm on the side of the other vampire, like with Lady Ashbury. Where is she? Ah, she's not here. Okay, I assume. Yeah, is this lady? No. Oh, okay. But I'm going to like stand with Lady Ashbury, because I kind of like, I feel like that's what the character would do. Like, I really need to, you know, like the vampire stuff is a bit above this.
So, the end justifies the means.
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
Like, you don't know anything about me?
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Oh, we can embrace her and kill her. Or we can charm her. You will forget all about this. You know, let's try that. Because, I mean, it's blue, it's something new.
Listen very carefully, Dorothy. You will erase from your memory everything you pretend to know about Lady Ashbury and Pembroke Hospital.
Let that rich bitch off the hook over my dead
Nurse
body.
Crane, enough. Listen as if your life depended on every word. I know you've a generous heart who gives freely to those in need, but you shall walk away from the shadier streets of your business.
I will never abandon...
Dorothy, the discussion has come to a close. Your clandestine activities
Oh,
and the
God.
resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go. Yes. All gone.
Okay, new citizens available to kill. Okay, now our mesmerize level went up.
It's locked. It's locked.
Huh. Oh. Oh, the prevents are here.
Oh, this one stinks. It's filthy piece of shit.
Boom, boom. And they killed everyone here anyways, so... Huh. Maybe I should have embraced her for the experience, but... Oh well. And now I want to check, okay, what happened to her? Yeah, she's still alive. But will she have any people left to take care of?
Crush the leech, boys! Bloody leech! Steady, boys! Oh, got one of them here! Murdering bosses!
Oh, nice. Nice parry. I should have not gone for the bite. I should have gone for the 2 attacks instead.
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed.
Okay, I thought I would just open the door and walk right in. Let's talk to you.
Yes?
Okay, you have nothing to say?
A lot of people are talking about this. Perhaps I
Oh man, I don't know, like, Now when I look at it, like, Mr. Petrescu, where are you? Are you part of a... Yes, you're part of this social circle right here. I think it's better, you know, to try and go for the people who are alone. And I mean, this family right here is the Palmers. A prime suspect to eat. And this guy, obviously. But yeah, I mean... I'll see you when I get to Ashbury. Okay, when I ran in here, he said, oh, human blood. Whoever left these marks did it deliberately. So... I assume there's something going on. Something's gonna pop up. Oh, hello.
kill it, boy!
Okay, yeah.
Burn it, boy! Die, baby!
Oh, nice. Very nice. I can do... There we go. So this is Vincent Sheen and Toby Sheen. So we are up against a family combo right here, I guess. Damn. So there's one more ranged guy. Oh, or not. Okay. So I have some people trying to lay some ambushes for me. Sadly... Oh. Okay. No idea why I did that. I didn't even press that button. Is this a new place? No, it's not.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah, no. Okay, this is locked away now. Ah, so the city actually changes a bit. Oh, and I picked up a used truncheon. A simple wooden stick used by policemen and mobsters to stun targets. Okay, that's 15 stun. I need some good handle parts. So this is my watch. An elegant pocket watch that was stolen from Jonathan before his body was thrown in a mass grave. No, I don't need. Whatever. I'll keep the watch.
This is despicable.
I will say I'm interested in the fact that the map has changed. So certain areas was like closed off. Hello. Damn it. Oh god. Nice. Right, and while you're trying to block... There we go. Some easy peasy fighting right here. Oh, that is interesting why this got blocked off. I wonder why. I guess is what I wanted. Is what I mean. Like, why did they decide to do that? Is this my room? Yes, it is. Okay. I will report to her first, but she's outside, so... hello, Lady Ashbury. Oh. Can no longer take any patients. Hospital full. Please go back home. Oh god. I'm gonna have to do another surgery thing? Oh. She ate him.
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
In the end, you're a killer. Compassion only hides your appetite. So, what are we gonna pick? He trusted you? Compassion only hides your appetite. But the thing is, I want to get into her good graces. So let's say he trusted you.
You killed him. He trusted you. And you killed him.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
Let's say, we are vampires after all.
We are vampires. We live by leeching the blood from weaker prey. We are Darwin's next chapter. His cynical and perhaps ultimate expression.
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
The case is closed, your ladyship. The person who took advantage of you has, shall we say, seen the error of her ways.
So who was it?
My lady, the blackmailer was dealt with using the utmost discretion. The culprit's identity is of no relevance.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Good
That is
job,
exactly
Jonathan.
what I needed from you.
Like,
You have
that you
proven
didn't tell
your
her.
loyalty, so, as a friend, please accept this small token of my appreciation.
Thank you, my lady.
If you have an inclination to learn more about vampires or your current situation, I will be glad to aid you in your quest for knowledge.
Yes. Please.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious?
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
Probably
You
because
make me
our
sound
kind
like
are feeding
some
on
sort
their
of cult.
kind.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Let's ask, who attacked me?
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Okay. Yeah, so progeny is like creating new
Will they all
ones.
be as affable as you, my lady?
No.
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Well,
Vampire politics
look
are
at
as intricate and
right in
sometimes
front of you.
tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
What is your fear?
What is it you fear?
Fear has long
Panic.
since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
I don't think it's... With the Spanish flu maybe
has hit London
helped.
that bad.
But it's not
Yes.
just.
But it's not just that.
Yeah.
I've heard things.
It's compounding
I've
things.
not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
Let's see. About your ladyship?
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter scowl.
What type of vampire is a Scar?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their baser instincts.
Alright.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then.
God no.
Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, Scowls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Because he wants to learn more
Dr.
about
Swansea
vampires.
is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
Alright. Do you know his brotherhood?
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London Vampire Society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
And no one suspected you of the murders.
Well,
As you
until
well
Crane.
know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
I don't know. I mean, I believe her, but I wouldn't be
this is
surprised
beyond
if
pale.
she's if she's,
may I
you know,
inquire
smiling
your age?
just before she takes the bite.
And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Who granted you eternal youth?
And who bestowed upon you this eternal youth?
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
Very well. But I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
A lady has to have some secrets.
Alright. Back. And let's ask her about me.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
Could it be a mistake?
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake.
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
Is it that... Oh god, I think I've seen some vampire mythos is that the vampire bites, then he kind of like have to give his blood to
I'd
the
like
victim.
to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
Okay. Maybe we accidentally did that to our sister. Maybe we accidentally, you know, because we were bleeding, maybe we accidentally dropped some of our blood into her. Because her body wasn't there. So I think maybe we accidentally created a vampire in our sister. Yeah, let's ask. Voice in my head.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity?
No, it's our maker.
It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
Oh. But then asking if she's my maker is stupid. But let's do it anyway.
Excuse my forwardness, but
No, of course
are
not.
you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no.
Yeah, so like I don't care about...
A vampire?
Such a crude word, defined by penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
An Ekon is a vampire, question mark?
So we are Ekons. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How to put it? All Ekon are vampires.
Oh, okay.
But all vampires are not Ekon. We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
Yeah. Kind of like how scouts are vampires, but not all vampires are scouts.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires. Forget what you think you know about us.
Alright. That's that.
I bid you farewell. For now, my lady. I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Then we also need to sleep. And I think I'm gonna be... Like, I don't think I'm gonna be drinking blood from the people in here, you know? Oh, hello.
Time has lost its effect on me.
Okay, and this is...
The suffering continues.
On every street corner. A daily routine.
Just to run to my room. And I wonder, I have to assume that there is like a skill, something that I will learn that allows me to unlock, you know, lockpick or something like that. There's a lot of locked chests that I've just, you know, ran past because I can't do anything about it. So let's analyze his blood sample. Gives me a stamina potion.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Scowls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.
Huh, alright. Chapter 3, Family History. I think now is a good time to rest. So you know what? We will rest now. And let time pass. Let's see. Let's get an ultimate while we're... So this is a shadow, so I think I want to do like the blood cauldron. You focus your power to boil your target's blood. Yeah, sure. So that I do shadow, normal damage, blood damage. Oh god, it's 1,000 experience. From 400 to 500. Let's see. Tactical, you perform a supernatural move to your target. Let's see, if I take Coagulation 2. Let's do that. Boom. Make my stun better. This is stun plus blood gain. Or just bigger stuns. I don't know, I think 3 seconds for now is fine. Let's see. Shadow Mist, we will make you stronger as well. And then this Shadow Mist. Oh god, so my damage goes from 300 to 30. The shadows will pool in a single place. All targets within this area are struck constantly with slithers of darkness, causing them to bleed. The vampire will directly absorb the blood. Okay, so this is like a blood absorption thing. Well, this is increases the range and damage. Okay. I don't know which one I want to pick yet, so I'll hold off from that. We will upgrade our heal. So this is 200 immediately, and then generate or immediate. I don't know, like that's fine. Let's increase our damage with our bite because it's only 300. This is 600, so I'm fine with that. Do I want to increase life regen from that as well? And our blood capacity. Boom, that's fine. Alright, confirm. A lot of stuff happened, alright. Disappearances in Whitechapel. Reports of mysterious disappearances have escalated in the past week. It has reached the point where witnesses have to queue before recounting their testimonies to an officer. Although this phenomenon appears to be nationwide occurrence, the statements of the last 24 hours have converged around a single area in the country, Whitechapel, London. Yes, once more, the despised and loathed East End is left to struggle on its own. The only link between them seems to be their health and their need for urgent medical attention. Until recently, it was a local secret that the only place to get help was a discreet dispensary managed by unidentified... Okay, so this is about the Prinwen thing. Alright. What is this? Your choice concerning the community pillar have been reported by the press. Okay, well, I mean... Oh, she's missing. Oh. Okay. I just thought I just charmed her. Well, in that case, maybe I should have eaten her. Oh well. This place is healthy. Yeah, and this went up. And is there The price and stocks of merchant in the district may have changed. Okay. No difference here. Okay. So it got serious here. It actually went down. Even with me, you know, healing a lot of people. Widow in distress. Widow in distress investigation updated. But now I also want to actually see, can I do this mission? Okay, it says, but where is Oswald? Oswald, you piece of shit, where are you? Okay, there's someone unknown in there. That's Newtown Blight. Here he is. Hello, Oswald.
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes, this neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Alright.
Do you
Well,
need medical
let me
attention?
give you some
Don't get me
medicine.
wrong, sir. I'm grateful for what you've done, but I've never felt comfortable with doctors.
Oh, okay.
I will see you later.
I don't have the treatment.
Mr. Thatcher, do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
What was the argument about?
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital, but I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's what the bloody doctors said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
And he's kind of like, when I'm in small spaces, I start to get this like panic and all that. I know what claustrophobia is. So, yeah.
Why were you locked
No,
in?
wait. Back. Let's ask. Why not go to a hospital?
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
Which is why you're drinking all that alcohol. Okay. Back.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then if you're so interested in my case.
Let's say you got buried. Because he did say something about white butchers. Right? So I assume... let's say... maybe when he was young... let's say you got buried.
When I rescued you, you expressed joy at seeing the sky again. So I'm inclined to believe you were trapped or buried somehow. Maybe during a shelling.
Jeez, you're good, Doc. You're really good.
Go on, please. Tell me more about it.
Newton and I were trapped in a circle.
Okay, I was right.
An
Phew.
artillery attack. We were buried alive for several days without ever knowing if we'd be found.
What happened?
Oswald, tell me about what happened when you were buried in that tunnel with Newton.
It was more than dark. It was black as pitch. Hours seemed like days, and days like months. Oh, the terror, the shameful thoughts. Lord have mercy.
What shameful thoughts?
Tell me about them.
At some point, I don't remember which day, when I thought we'd never be rescued, that this would be our end.
Did you think about killing your friend?
I thought about...
Say it, Mr. Thatcher. If you ever
I
want
think
to
he
heal,
thought
you
about
have to
killing
say
his
it.
friend.
I thought about what I could do to survive. Just for a few more days.
Yeah.
I thought about killing Newton. Killing and eating him. The man I fucking love.
What you endured was terrifying. It would have completely destroyed weaker men.
It did not destroy Newton.
Yeah, but he's strong as well. I don't think it's... Is it a romantic? I assume it's like a, you know, friendly love.
Tell me about your true feelings.
Doesn't seem like...
I love him. I'm not ashamed to say it. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. I can't imagine life without him.
Why should you be ashamed?
Why should you be ashamed?
I'm not, I said. But Newton sees it differently.
I admire your honesty. It takes courage to stand up to society. The world needs people like you to create change.
Courage is what we needed in the trenches, looking death in the face every day. I speak plain. I speak my mind.
Have you always been this straightforward?
All I know is, before you saved me by the sewer, my only regret was I wouldn't be able to hold or kiss Newton again.
Okay, it is a
I
romantic
love him,
love.
that's all.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take care of yourself.
Alright, there we go. Let's talk to Newton.
I am not responsible.
It's locked, all right.
Bad days happen.
What do you mean?
Hello again, Mr. Blight. I'm happy to see Mr. Thatcher is safe, for now.
I'm eternally grateful, Doctor. We were total strangers and you helped us anyway. Can't thank you enough, sir.
No, you're healthy. Why do you stay here?
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
I tried.
What can you tell me about the war?
Now it's
Mr.
up to
Blight?
him.
If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... Well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Let's ask.
Did
You knew him
know
before?
Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield.
Okay, some battlefield
I
love.
think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
In more ways than one.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
Alright. Let's ask about his trauma.
You and Oswald were buried alive during the war. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It was last summer. A shell hit our trench and we were buried for a week.
How did you survive?
How did you survive for a week?
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost, see. Since then, Oswald's not keen on being inside for too long.
Understandable.
Seemed far more
Same reason you're
traumatized
afraid of
by
rats.
the event.
It wasn't the first time it happened to me.
Or has a rat phobia.
Surviving it again gave me strength.
I mean, makes sense.
You believe that?
During this flu period and all that, people would be extra afraid of rats, you know, and all that.
How do you feel about Oswald Thatcher? You are more than friends, aren't you?
I love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
What if people find out? Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that.
No, I'm afraid.
It's more, well, you know, I never thought I'd love a man.
Like, you're gonna get killed. Let's say, enjoy your love.
Enjoy your love. And enjoy life as long as you can, Mr. Blight. Don't let anyone tell you who you should love or how you should love them.
I appreciate your kind words, sir. But it ain't that easy.
Yeah, we're gonna get killed.
It's all so new to me.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
It started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. I couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
You would be surprised. I mean, you would be surprised. I might know what you're talking about.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself.
Oh yeah, so I have 300 experience from you. Let me see, do I have anything new to ask you?
Newton is conflicted about his feelings towards you. Would you like to talk about it, Oswald?
It makes me sad and angry. It feels like the beautiful thing we have is somehow tainted. It hurts to see him so lost.
His love for you is genuine. I'm certain he wasn't lying to me when he expressed his feelings for you.
Newton still has to accept it, knowing he'll be seen as a queer, a fairy, less than a man in those simple-minded bigots' eyes. Though he's more of a man than they'll ever be, so fuck them all.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher.
Alright, there we go.
It's locked.
The city is more peaceful without the bombs, but no less dangerous.
So maybe that's why I couldn't... take... Fuck, what's his name? Cox down there. You know, when I had to take him, like... I don't know where I took him to drink his blood. But I was like, wait, why didn't I take him down to the sewers? It was probably locked. Hello, Swansea. I have news to report to you.
Evening, Edgar. Could I get your professional opinion?
Please speak, but I have something important to tell you.
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in Europe. It's downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
Let's say I analyzed the blood.
I've just looked at the blood of one of our recently deceased.
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads and looks like the Spanish flu, but its effects differ greatly. The London strain is different from the continental one.
This is very interesting. Did you find something else?
God, what is it? If I say yes, what is it I would say? Yes, let's just say yes.
Yes. Unlike the flu, the infected begin to show an increase in outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stove, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here. But it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
Let's say it's too dangerous. I may turn London into my realm.
And why not? What did Stoker say about the Children of the Night? Well, using my blood, I could create a whole army of vampires.
Surely you're joking.
Yes.
We'll discuss this more later. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said,
Okay, I actually meant that as a joke, or like something to him.
I have some rather bad news.
Something to tell him, like.
Yes?
I'm afraid it's your sister.
My sister?
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences.
Okay, well, this is not what I wanted. I wanted to do as a cautionary thing to him, like, you know, if we do that, everyone might become my servants. And I don't know how to deal with that power, so we shouldn't.
I never thought I would have to attend my murdered sister's funeral. Mary, I can't forgive myself. I'll find the truth about what happened to us. I swear.
Yeah, and even worse since you're the one who killed her. Oh, it's over there, okay. For some reason I thought it was like they were gonna do it in this mass grave right here. But
it's
no.
It's locked, alright.
It's in Whitechapel. Okay, let's run there. And... God. Okay, let's eat this rat.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
I do have a feeling that... Okay. Hello. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nice. Let me bite you for the blood. And now my bite does 100 damage. So I think that's good. And I might start going pretty heavy on the bite damage. Because I use a lot of stun weapons. I feel like going heavy on the bite is probably like the smartest thing to do. Okay, so that's after I hit them maybe 1 or 2 more times. And then go for the bite. Because it's a good way to get... oh, hello.
A leech! A leech!
Yep. A leech.
Oh my god!
Boom. Thank you for being weak. Okay. I feel like my sister isn't dead.
I don't know if I have the strength.
Either my sister has turned into a skull and I'm gonna have to actually kill her, or she got turned into a vampire. There's something in me that tells me she isn't dead. Oh, Jesus Christ. Thanks for letting me see what's happening. Boom. Okay, you're a blinker skull. Okay. When I think that I might not hit him, go for the W. Or like the parry attack, because it's faster. Discreetly attend her funeral. Oh yeah, and also, wait. Let's see. She is still in the graveyard, yeah, so I can tell her to, you know what?
This is despicable.
You should go back to Whitechapel. It is not safe for you here. Oh. Okay, I thought I could walk through the building to get to the other side, but I guess not. Let's do the side mission first. Huh? Okay. Oh wait, this is glowing. Why is it glowing? Oh, clay cocks, okay. Ah, alright, so the people I kill, whatever. These will be, you know, their graves. Hello.
Are you all right, Miss Shun?
My name is Xiao Shun. This is the proper way to address someone in my country.
I do apologize, Xiao Shun. Are you all right?
Yes, I am. This is the only place where I can find some kind of serenity.
Amongst
Some
all the
way to
skulls.
remember my dear Matthew.
Okay. Any news of Nurse Crane's dispensary?
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I heard that she used to help the refugees. But unfortunately, you don't see her around anymore.
Why?
Are you on your own? Do you have any friends or family who you could be with?
I have family and friends, but I need to be here alone. One day maybe I'll go back to them, but not now. I need silence, and I need sadness.
Let's see. We all grieve our own way. Yeah, let's say that.
I've seen many deaths in my life, and we all grieve in our own way. Some stay silent, or need to shout. Others need company, and some just can't stand it.
Thank you for your sincere words, Dr. Reed. I sense you trying to help me, even if I don't quite understand why.
Because I'm a good guy. Let's see, you can stay here forever.
You realize you can't stay here forever, don't you? Eventually, you'll have to leave the cemetery.
Why? Why should I go? Since this is the only place I can find peace of mind.
Sorry if I have vexed you.
To be honest, I don't know. Please forgive me if I've upset you. We must all honor our departed loved ones in our own way.
You sound like you're no stranger to the pain I feel.
Let's just say, I too have a good reason to visit cemeteries at night.
Please accept my condolences for your loss then, Dr. Reed.
Alright, let's see. Ask about his death.
Tell me how your husband died, Xiaoshun.
Matthew died of the Spanish flu, like so many others. It's a mundane cause of death these days, but for me it meant the end of the world.
At this time, there is so little medical science can do to defeat this terrible epidemic. I'm truly sorry.
The worst thing is not his death, even if it tears me apart. The worst is not to have seen it coming, to have lost him so quickly, even before realizing it.
Did he hide his condition from you?
Matthew was a smiling type, a happy sort. Everything that I am not.
Yeah, so your opposites attracted each other?
I didn't realize what was going to happen. I'll never know.
The Spanish flu may be the worst disease mankind has ever faced. Why are you blaming yourself?
You don't understand. I didn't know he was so sick. I didn't realize the gravity of his situation until it was too late.
And she's kind of like, and I was his wife.
We are all equally vulnerable.
You know, I was supposed to be near him. I thought I knew him.
Man in just a couple of days.
I never said goodbye to Matthew. We never realized how bad it was. We laughed about it even. He always made me laugh. Now I don't have enough tears to shed.
Let's say I let my sister Mary die.
Are you a doctor yourself? Is this why you feel so guilty for not saving your sick husband?
No, I am not. But I still need to blame someone for Matthew's death. And who else, if not his wife, who did not see it coming?
I'm a physician. One of the best in the country. But I was unable to save my own sister, Mary. She died in my arms.
Why tell me this? Is it supposed to make me feel better?
No.
But I wanted you to know that you have done nothing wrong. Unlike me.
May I ask what caused the death of your sister?
You could say she was also killed by a terrible disease. A disease I have sworn to fight and cure, no matter how long it takes.
Thank you for sharing that with me, Dr. Reed. Maybe it's time we start to rebuild our lives, you and I.
Yes, I think we should. Well, I'm rebuilding my life in a way that, oh god. Oh, well, you should go home now.
You should go home now.
I think you're right. Cemeteries are for the dead, for they need silence too. Thank you for your honesty and your wisdom, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your company, Xiaoshun. Take care on the way home.
Maybe I'll see you again in Whitechapel. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye. Are you healthy? Yes, you are. Okay.
Goodbye for now.
You know you can trust me. Why have you not spoken to me?
Oh god.
Since I can't reveal myself to my mother now, I must find a discreet spot to attend the ceremony.
Is that our mother? Ah, so that's what this place was about. You know, I think I accidentally went up here once, and I was like, what was the point?
He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. We commend unto thy hands of mercy, most merciful Father, the soul of our sister departed, and we commit her body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Yet it's strange that it would be like question mark, question mark, question mark when it's on our own mother. Or like someone, you know.
Why kill my Mary and stick her here in this cold, god-awful place?
These are the legal requirements for the epidemic, madam.
Oh, Avery, I feel so tired. Please take me home.
Yes, madam.
I mean, look at our eyes. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Mary.
Very creepy.
What have I done? If I could only change one thing. One thing. This is a nightmare.
Jonathan, there is nothing you can do but accept it.
Except that I killed my own sister? Not yet.
What brings you here?
I thought you could use the company. I am so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
She was kindness incarnate. I feel like a hypocrite. Let's say that. She was kindness incarnate.
She was a good person. Vibrant, full of life. She was kindness incarnate, my Mary.
You're a good person, Jonathan. And a young Ekon. A newborn cast into the night without so much as a candle to guide your way.
She had been scouring the most dangerous parts of London in search of me. And it led to her death.
Jonathan, don't.
I still hear her last thoughts. They echo in my head. Her mind shattered, and it haunts me.
Jonathan, stop. Listen carefully. You must come to terms with this. You must learn to live with what happened.
Let's say I'm learning every night, or tell me how. Let's say I'm learning every night. I'm split between I'm learning every night or tell me how. Should we confide in her?
How is it possible? Tell me. Is it so easy to take a life every night and then just smile and nod at those you spared?
Don't you see? You're doing the work of our enemies, feeding your remorse. We are weakest when we grieve.
I did not. No, that's not what I wanted to say at all.
So this is why you're here. To warn me. You felt this pain yourself. You too have endured this.
Of course.
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. I've lost so many friends. Loved ones I cherished. Pray for Mary's forgiveness, if you must.
Let's say, you may be right. I'll follow your advice.
You may be right.
Of course. I've stared upon this world for centuries, and time has taught me to deal with guilt, if not erase it.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and make your peace. Find the solace you need.
My lady wants me to confess.
No, Jonathan. It's you who wants to confess, I think.
Yes. Alright. Even though, I mean, we're not religious, it still is something like, we just have to get it off our mind. Now the thing is that, is she just using us for, you know, vampire politics to get us to be on her side? You know, you never know. Because like you said, you have to be very smart in the vampire politics. But the thing is that she said that she just refuses to play. But has she started to play now? Does she have a foot in, you know? Let's see, do I have? No. I need some good handle parts. Let's take these guys out. Yeah, you do. But how are you gonna do that? There we go. Easy peasy. And thanks for the shielding and aluminium powder.
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek of guilt and pointless compassion.
Hello.
Shed your skin, forget your old weaker self.
What do you want from me?
To get strong. That's what I want.
Does not approve of lone wolves who bring unwanted eyes to our pastures.
So your name is Ascalon?
No.
Ascalon's will is vampire law.
He's working for Ascalon.
Or I shall return as your judge and jury.
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
I mean, he's kind of telling, you know, like... Oh. Alright. They're fighting a Scal.
Don't like that, do ya? Watch it! It's a killer!
Thank you guys for killing the Scal for me. You know, let's kill these guys as well.
Oh, Christ! Boom!
Okay, so he did overheal. So I wonder, how does that work? Because I actually thought that he would have, you know, that black bar that came up. I thought that meant... Oh. I thought that meant that I couldn't, you know. Oh, Jesus. Oh, did I kill both of them? Oh, I guess I did. And I kind of want to get to this guy as well. No, no, no. Boom, there we go. So make sure to use the shotgun against those guys, because holy shit, the shotgun is really good. And they have no, you know, range resistance, so... Oh wait, am I going the right way? No, I think I want to go up. And I take the first left, right? Yes. What? And we're back in Whitechapel. Alright, let's see. Camilla, you have anything to say?
Hello again, miss. Camellia, a stubborn and...
Okay,
very
nothing.
well.
I'm thinking before I go in there, I think I want to talk to that Demetrius, whatever his name was. Let's talk to you first.
Good evening.
Unless you have anything about her disappearance?
Have you any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It appears the dispensary is now a major source of contagion in Whitechapel. Someone should do something about it, but no one cares.
Goodbye, Miss.
Papa, what do you think?
Good evening.
Changed.
What do you know about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
2 girls I know went to the dispensary yesterday. Nobody has seen them since. I worry about them, in case bad things happen.
Goodbye, miss.
Alright, let me check that out. The problem is, I don't remember where it was. No, not there. I mean, it was in here in Whitechapel, oh god. Map. Okay, maybe here. Let's put that there and let's try and go there. Maybe it's there.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Well, let's talk to you first.
Christina.
Mr. Bates.
Evening, Doctor.
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not really.
Why am I not convinced?
Why am I not convinced?
Maybe it's because you lack faith. Being a skeptic must be useful for a man of science.
A man such as yourself, knee-deep in the muck of Whitechapel, must know more. Speak now.
Heard it closed after the owners died. Refugees don't want to come to Whitechapel no more. Scared, I hear.
You sound disappointed.
As long as she was there at the dispensary, it attracted more immigrants and kept my place full. Such a shame.
Have been attacked. Let's see. Kerrigan sees Dr. Dorothy dispenser as a fine thing. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh, now I could just walk into his house. And there's some mouse here. Oh yeah. She became a skull. Okay. So that's what happens. Okay, bite you. Oh, nice. Is that Dimitriscus? No. She's a pretty strong skull, level 24. Oh. Letter to Nurse Crane. My dear Dorothea, when you read this letter, I'll be on the boat and I will take Anton and me back to Brazov. England was not for us, and I confess I cannot wait to see you again on the proud hills of Transylvania. Of course, they're from Transylvania. Alright. So that was, you know, one more hint for her, but I mean, she is dead. I wonder how she became a skull, though. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I think the shotgun is what I want. Alright, let's kill her with shotgun shots. Boom, there we go. A small key. And what is a small key for? Probably used to open a small chest or a trunk. Or maybe that room. Ah, there we go. Treatment for headache and 6 glass vial. Treatment for cold, treatment for fatigue, a medical voucher. Alright, so a bunch of medical supplies. Yeah. And a beautiful flower. There we go. A small flower like those offered Okay, so we have the beautiful flower. Guess we can give it to Camilla. Tell her that Dorothy Crane is dead. Oh fuck. Oh nice. He was doing the bite attack. And I managed to parry it. I wonder where Dimitriscus is then. Because he's not dead, right? Yeah. And the flower lady used to be outside the church, so we'll go there.
Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Am I still missing something from you?
Again.
Have you recently?
I saw her wandering the streets.
Yeah, there's still
Goodbye.
something I don't know about you. Alright, let's talk to you.
Fancy Bob.
You never. Right then.
Let's see, do you have tiny good handle? It's not what I want. But I'll sell this. So let's settle down to 65. You have rivets. You know what? Oh no, that's me. Yeah, of course. Oh, well, I wanted to ask about Nurse Crane.
News of Nurse.
It appears those who dare to get elf care from that bitch are never seen again. Something fishy going on there for sure.
Good.
Camilla, where are you? Okay, she should be somewhere around. There you are. I have bad news for you. Maybe you'll start speaking now.
Camellia. I know. Tell me. Very well.
Nothing. Oh, okay. I thought because I had that flower that she would, you know.
Good evening. And good evening. Have you recently?
Not at all, sir.
But no, apparently not. Okay. Maybe we can talk to Clayton and tell him that she's dead.
Good evening.
You know, you're working for the paper.
Have you? It's a. Goodbye,
no.
Mr. Darby.
For there is no protection against malevolence and trickery.
Oh, I can't enter the church, or do I need to go to the back end? Hello, Scal. Damn it. Oh, that's weird. Seems like I can't enter the church. It's like reach St. Mary's. Then what? And now I can. Okay, I had to go from this place. So I went the long way.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
So this is Vicar.
You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold. I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
Let's see. This is a personal matter.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
I've words for one departed. I don't think talking to that guy is the smartest thing.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest. As you seem quite...
No, don't.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
Listen, she was my sister.
She was my sister.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
Oh God. Oh God. I don't think we should be completely honest with this guy. Let's say she was murdered.
She was murdered.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
I feel responsible.
I feel responsible. The pain is consuming me.
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What words would you like to say to your poor sister?
Please forgive me.
I killed you. There's no excuse. My dear Mary, forgive me.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now, and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
Okay, that's not what I want. I did not want you to tell him that you killed her. I just...
I confessed to that vicar. Do I feel better? Only time will tell.
Okay, I just wanted you to say, Vicar, tell her that I'm sorry. That I couldn't save, that I couldn't stop. Like, just ask for forgiveness. You do not have to tell her, or tell him that we killed him. Or killed, you guys know what I'm trying to say. one thing I'm wondering is, where is that guy? Not you, but... Did I get any treatment for migraines? Did I pick any of that up? Fatigue, bronchitis, anemia, cold, sepsis, pneumonia, headache. No. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking, what do I want to do now? I think I'm gonna go back to the docks and then try and talk to Stella now. So I think that is what I'm planning on doing. So I'll see you guys when I'm at the docks. Or not.
Ain't safe here for a gentleman.
Yeah,
Step away!
I'm stepping away.
Watch out, boys! Stop! Vampire!
What the fuck? Well, yeah, I think those guys could still see me through that ability. Holy shit. The power of what? There we go. And a cigarette case. Holy shit! Where the fuck did you come from? Holy shit, I managed to parry him. Completely accidentally. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I will say, I like that the game changes, you know, like the type of enemies you fight in certain areas. Like, there's a lot of differences happening. So let's see. Go to the docks. You know, let's try and go here. Because I don't know if I've ever been there. So let's go on this adventure together. Oh,
it's locked,
no.
All right.
Okay, I can't go that way. All right, well, I take that back. I'll see you guys at the docks.
Binding you to the earth.
You. I remember you.
Oh god. Okay. We ran into something. Hello. Are you my maker?
Fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing. You made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land, are our champion.
Okay. Why choose me?
You selected me. Chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Yes.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So
Yep.
the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
Edgar. Is that Edgar Swansea? Yes, it is. Down there, Edgar Swansea. Alright, but we're not doing that. We're going to the docks. Okay, I can hear like a train or something. So, is there a train here? Oh, the door's been unlocked. Am I in a different place I've never been before? No, this is where I found that love letter. Maybe I cannot open. But maybe this is. I got a pre-one exterminator. Some rookies. Oh. Oh no, it's not me. Let's work together. There we go. Good. Fuck, what's it called? Good meat shield werewolf. Thanks for the help. Oh. Is this a I mean, I'm a bit confused. This is a new place or a place I've been before?
This is no place for you, sir.
Yeah, let's see. Boom. There we go. Because I want to get a stun on you. Fuck. Boom, there we go. Nice. Huh. Is this... Oh yeah, I think this is the place where... God, this side mission was. Right? Yes, it is. There we go. Let's get that bite in. Oops, did not mean to jump up here, but I guess it's a good thing I did. No wait, this is where the boat was. Yes. Okay. Yes, I know where we are now.
I cannot enter.
Yes, yes. I know where we are. Well, let's see if I can make it to the other side now. Like, please, let me go to the other side.
This is despicable.
No.
It's locked, all right.
Not from that side. So maybe if I go here, jump like that, maybe? I mean, let's just untrack it. Because it's going to confuse me.
Crush the liver!
I can't teleport up there. Oh, please let me teleport up.
Oi! Come out, you coward!
Okay, now I can jump up. Alright, you got your wish. I came out. Okay, you know what, I'm actually gonna pause the game until I manage to make it back here to the docks. Okay, we are back
Am I
here.
really cursed?
Evening,
Let's
Rufus.
see.
Evening, Miss.
Do you have anything to say? No.
So long, Rufus. Be careful.
So love to gaze at the stars. The fog's been hiding them of late.
I think this woman...
Good evening, madam. It's Dr. Reed again.
I
May
need the
come in?
mesmerize level 2 to get in.
You best come back in the morning, Doctor.
Let me in.
The disease takes away the good people too, madam. Why not let me in?
It's Mrs. Fishburne. Stella Fishburne.
Yeah, because before it
And
said
yes,
like
indeed.
mesmerize level 2.
Why not let a doctor in? I'm not sure the epidemic is what worries people most these days.
So, hello.
So you have questions about the flu then?
Yes, among other things.
Forgive my rudeness at the door. It's just my son doesn't like strangers coming in the house.
Goodbye.
Yeah, before I ask about your son, because I mean your son is a murderer. And you know about that?
I've been nothing but worry.
I want to see, is there... Other than, you know, just random items for... Okay, no. It's like... there isn't like a diary or something. Oh.
It's locked.
What can I do for you, Dr. Reed?
What do you do for a living?
May I ask what you do for a living, Mrs. Fishburne?
Since my husband died, I worked at the Dawson Rope Factory, but it closed before the war. I occasionally help at the night asylum, in exchange for food.
Did your husband die in the war?
Oh no.
Oh no.
My Jack was a docker. He died when my Seymour was just a lad.
My husband is way
He
too
saw
old
his
to go to
dad
war.
slip and fall from that scaffolding.
Is that why he
How do
became
you
a
pay
murderer
the rent?
himself?
My Seymour works at the docks, just like his dad. He's very attached to the house he grew up in. It's not always easy, but we get by all right.
And the way you look out in the distance, you're like, oh god.
How is life around here?
Life has always been hard in the East End. But it's everywhere nowadays, isn't it?
Even the place where you come from, Doctor?
Do you think the increase in violence has anything to do with the epidemic?
Don't know. But it's most likely linked to the gangs, if you ask me. Recently, it's like everyone has had to pick a side.
She refuses to send him to... because he will probably get the death penalty, I guess.
Violence has always fed on poverty, don't you think? It's a cruel law of the human condition.
And selfishness is their rotten fruit. These days, you can just die in the gutter and no one will bat an eye.
How was it back in the good old days? Was it really any better?
The orphan that regards you as a mother. Please tell me about him, Stella.
You mean Rufus? I wish I could do even more for the poor boy. Most people are so selfish.
But you're not.
Years may have passed, but I haven't forgotten how it feels to go through days with nothing but an empty stomach.
Tell me about these demons Seymour needs your help to fight.
Seymour used to be such a happy child, and he is still a helping son most of the time.
But he has this
When he
rage.
gets angry, he can hardly contain his rage.
All men and women are born innocent, Mrs. Fishburne. But there can be a monster within any of us.
Do you think he can be cured, Doctor? Do you think something can extinguish this rage inside my Seymour?
Huh. Let's say he's fully responsible. I mean, even if you have, you know, these demons in your mind and all that, it's still your actions. I mean, it isn't like he's being controlled by someone else, right?
I'm afraid these demons, as he calls them, are just a delusional justification to distance himself from his actions.
There ain't no hope then. Somehow, somewhere, my son has turned into a monster, and nothing will bring him back.
I mean, obviously everyone, I mean, even, you know, mass murders, all that, I do believe that there is always the chance of redemption and all that, but you should still go to jail and then get therapy while you're in jail.
He has a taste for blood, and you know it, don't you, Stella?
One night, he told me straight up, in his own words. It was several days after one of his episodes.
Why did he confess? Did you suspect something?
No. I guess he wanted his old mum to help him fight his, demons.
Did Seymour tell you everything that night?
More than I could stand. The words he used to describe his hate, his rage.
It disgusted me.
How he feels when he's done it.
Well, obviously, because it's her son.
Stella, I know you
And
are
she still
ashamed
loves
of your
him.
son's crimes. So why do you protect Seymour?
I can't report my own son, can I? Not a burden I could bear.
Burden? How do you mean?
They'd hang him for sure. I won't send my only son to his death.
Okay. Let's say you're not responsible. I mean, you're not responsible for his murders, but if you know about that, you should. But that's the whole problem with the death penalty, right? If it wasn't death penalty, then maybe she would have reported him so that he just went to jail, and then he could get help. I mean, the thing is that with death penalty, you can't help the person, so the people around might not want to, you know, report them because fuck, I don't want him to die. Oh man. Let's say this must stop. Oh, you're not responsible.
I'm convinced you raised Seymour the best you could. You're not responsible for what he became.
If someone ever found the courage to speak to the police, I will take my share.
Okay. So she's kind of like, I'm not the one who's going to tell the police
Goodbye,
about
Miss
my
Lister.
son.
Take care of yourself.
But if something happens, I'll confess.
Gentlemen are easy targets in these parts.
So let's. Okay, Rufus, do you know anything about that?
Evening, Rufus.
Evening, Miss.
Nope.
So long.
Okay. Trying to find Seymour. Because, I mean, I don't want Seymour to kill someone else. Hello, Seymour.
Good evening, Mr. Fishman.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess nothing new from you.
Goodbye,
Yeah, no.
Mr.
Okay, this is the bridge to get to the place I started.
I have this thirst for blood.
Here we go, now we can talk to
What do
you.
you want?
I know you believe monsters are real, Booth.
They are. I know, I saw one, but no one believes me.
Tell me what you saw.
Tell me what you saw.
It was a few years ago. Clay Cox was still the boss then. He'd sent me to the shipyard to find out who was stealing tools and ropes at night.
Go on.
First I thought it was an old lady with a limp. It looked frail and crooked. Then I saw it grab a bloody beam and lift it like it was a stick. I shouted. It looked straight at me.
Do you know what it was?
It was all eyes and long teeth, but I couldn't see its face. I shot at it when it moved towards me and I hit it. Then it jumped and vanished in the shadows.
You could have imagined all that. These docks can be so gloomy at night.
He's like, God damn it, I didn't imagine it.
Boats creaking?
No, Doctor. That night I saw the fucking sewer dog for real. It's not a beast like the stories say. It's the ghost of an old woman. Bullets can't stop it. But no one believes me.
Are your friends mocking you?
Even Edwina told me once to never speak about it, but I know what I saw. And it wasn't a human. Not human at all.
Alright.
Do you know Edwina suspects you to be unfaithful?
Edwina's the one who asked to be called Mrs. Cox, even though Clay hadn't touched her for such a long time.
You have not answered my question.
She's a passionate woman. I've no doubt she'll shoot me down if I ever betray her, but that's not going to happen. I love her as she is.
Alright. Okay, I think that's all.
Goodbye, Mr.
Like, dialogue from you, Cox, you want to say anything?
Good evening, Miss Cox.
Hello again.
Let's trade
Can I
first.
see-
As long as you...
Common. Damn, you don't have any good part things. Okay, I have a regular ring. And I'm not gonna sell the beautiful flowers or my watch. Okay.
Good evening.
Hello again.
Tell me
It make
you don't...
I don't care. You have... What is it?
I'm not...
The poor...
So you...
Yeah.
Goodbye.
So there wasn't really anything here. Well, I guess I did go into his mother's, you know, abode, talk to the mother, but didn't really get to do exactly what I wanted. Let's see. Yeah, and I need number 3. So I wonder, how do I increase my mesmerize level? And sadly she is dead. Which was not the plan. But oh well, I guess I'm going back to the hospital. Oh, hello.
Look at it! She's buggered! Christ, he's dead! Eat this! He's dead! Murdering bastard!
Well, I mean, you're attacking me, so... What has happened here? There's like a blood trail thingy.
Good evening, Nurse Brad.
What happened?
Good evening, Doctor.
What can you tell me about the recent events in the hospital?
That Mr. Hampton killed Miss Jones in her room, then ran away.
And did you see all this?
No. I was working by the tents when it all
Miss
happened.
Jones.
I only entered the room when they asked me to clean up the blood.
So Sean Hampton killed someone.
Where is Miss Jones's body?
I don't know. I'd imagine the morgue. It all happened so quickly.
Did you see Sean Hampton leave the hospital?
I think I saw a silhouette exiting the hospital gates after the shouting started. At first I thought it was someone who was just scared, but well, maybe it was him.
Okay, so you're not sure it was him. So you just assume, okay.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
So Mrs. Jones was the old woman, right? Yes. Oh, okay, well, shit. Things have been happening here. I'll talk to you people soon. There's someone dead right there. Alright, let's talk.
Jonathan, my sincere condolences for your loss.
Your kindness is much appreciated, my lady.
Is there anything you require?
Reveal what we are to our relative?
I spied my mother at the funeral. Have you ever revealed yourself to a member of your family?
No, Jonathan. And I'd advise you even from thinking about it.
Are we then condemned to...
We are creatures of deception, my friend. But this is more for their sake than ours.
What could happen?
But what if I was close to someone and wished to tell them the truth?
Fear, loathing, disgust. And then they will plead to be turned. They will see it as salvation. Then there's the risk of gaining the attention of vampire hunters.
Yeah, let's go back then.
Are we condemned to attend?
Dying is the final act of life, Jonathan. Present company excluded.
Yeah.
Accepted.
Cursed to eternity of solitude, no right to grief.
As a practitioner of the medical sciences, I'm prepared for the death of loved ones. But mourning in the shadows, deprived of sharing one's grief.
We are no longer a part of the circle of life and death. We are undead, my friend. And so we are outcasts.
Well, because you choose to be.
I don't know what to expect. Am I cursed to an eternity of solitude?
With time, we Ekon tend to go into isolation. If we survive long enough, that is.
Okay. Let's go back.
Goodbye, my...
Well, let's talk to you, Tippets. You have anything to say about what has happened?
Good evening.
Dr. Reed.
Nurse Brannigan has been accused.
Nurse Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist bullshit. I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life. She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Why not?
Believe me, Dr. Reed.
Why not?
A time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
Goodbye, Doc.
So I don't know, I don't think Hampton killed her and took, you know, the body. My assumption is that he ran after what happened.
Good evening, Milk.
Good evening.
I'd like...
Wise chop.
Alright, let's see. Milton shotgun. I mean, that is 296 damage. Small bank of junk. No, I don't remember what's in these things. I'll buy one. Just, you know. Just to break it down into components. People Hawkins, you have anything to say?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nope. Alright.
Good.
Did you see anything?
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Okay, nothing to say.
Disgust on every street corner.
Where's the... There we go, Thelma.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Alright. Just ask, are you romantically involved?
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Alright.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Alright.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
I mean, I'm just flabbergasted that no one is talking about that. She's the only one who said anything about, you know.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
One of our patients got like dragged. Okay, nothing new from you. Alright, Swansea.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCallum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Leave him, Jonathan.
Alright.
This is sacred ground. Neutral territory. and I just had the carpet cleaned.
I mean, judging by how our face looks and our eyes.
So this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
So they know.
What happened?
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
Confidence must be restored.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan.
Miss Harriet Johnson.
She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found her room like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Let's just say, I'll help you.
Very well. I'll help you.
Jonathan, please. I can't rely on anyone else. And this concerns you as it involves vampires. Someone has taken advantage of our more liberal tendencies here.
In what way?
Jonathan, I may turn my head when you or her ladyship indulge, but I will not allow this place to become a nest for street feeders.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Yes. Let's say, I'll protect you all. Or they will not attack. We don't know. They probably, let's just say, I'll protect you all.
Rest assured, I will protect you. And your staff.
McCullum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this.
The sad saint of the East End. If it is him. The thing is that I'm not sure it is Sean Hampton. I think this is just a misunderstanding. And he just ran after.
Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks.
And now they want me to go to the docks. So I should have just gone here, done this, and then, you know, gone to the docks. So wasted some time, but oh well. Hello. You have anything to say?
Good evening.
Can you tell me anything about recent events in the hospital?
Oh, goodness me. This whole story is such a shame, sir. I have no idea how it happened.
What are you talking about?
Poor Miss Jones. Her body is missing. Someone stole it.
Her body is missing?
Miss Jones's body has gone missing?
Yes. The body was brought here this morning, and now it's gone.
Who could have stolen a corpse?
That's exactly what I asked myself for the whole day. Who could do such a thing? These are terrible and shameful times, Dr. Reed.
Alright, let's go back.
Please show
Do you have anything new?
Of course. It's just...
No, nothing I want. Alright. What I want to do, however, is go up to my room. I think, there we go.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Yes, it does. Alright. Increase stamina regeneration or... Codeine. Okay, I mean, let's get that. Treatment for headache. So I have 2 of those. Okay, nice. But I don't know how to, you know, make them. Good handle part. Okay, I can upgrade the pistol, so I'll do that. Now, do I want to upgrade the hacksaw? Or the you know what, let's go for the hacksaw. Yeah. Even though the bludgeon, I can give it, you know, stun. And I mean, I love stun. But let's go for the hacksaw. I mean, we are a doctor, right? Or maybe I want to go full damage. Oh, I can upgrade it 1 more. There we go. This, please tell me it's not the same as this. This needs good handle part. And okay, I use common. There we go. So they need the same thing. Okay. Let's see. 104. Or do I want to make it so that I get blood every time I use it? Let's go for damage. You know, no, we're going damage on this thing. And then this will give us some blood, and then we're going damage. Yeah. So now we have a new weapon to use. This has been a long time since they switch out the weapon. 317, 74. Oh, I could do something for my pistol as well. Upgrade, okay. Fire rate or more stun. Okay, I took a decrease. Yeah, I had decreased reload time. So I think using the stun, yeah, let's do that. Boom. Now this is just a blood absorption thing. So let's see if I can, you know, spy on Mortimer and his mother. Because I think I had the ability to do that, but I fucked it up.
Like a book.
Or maybe not.
Good evening.
And good evening to you.
Can you tell me?
I'm sure it was not your fault, Dr. Reed.
My fault? What do you mean?
Oh, nothing.
It's just... I heard it was you who brought the murderer inside our walls. But you couldn't know, could you?
No. Let's say Ackroyd will not report you.
Did you know Dr. Ackroyd never reported your experimental research, despite the fact he doesn't agree with it?
Really? I didn't suspect he knew about my work. I must confess I am surprised.
Perhaps he thinks you should realize for yourself the danger of what you're doing.
See how condescending he can be? My God, he can be so irritating.
Okay.
Can you tell my...
Oh, no.
Goodbye, Dr.
Ackroyd. I was wrong about you
I'm
in the
quite
beginning.
busy right now.
What can...
Nothing like this would have happened if we'd had enough staff and proper shifts.
So you don't think the blame is ours?
We all hold fast here, Dr. Reed. Our methods may differ, but we are all trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Please.
I heard Miss Jones call for help from her bedroom. There were some loud noises, like people fighting. All of a sudden, it went quiet. And then a nurse started screaming.
Do you know who the nurse was?
Not sure, but I think it was Nurse Hawkins.
Huh, okay.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
What are you hiding, Hawkins?
Good evening.
I said your son is not dying.
I've read your son's medical report, Beatrice. It's not the flu or anything life-threatening. What has you so worried?
He was at death's door when he was brought here. I just want him to be better as soon as possible.
He's not out of the woods yet, you know. He might need to stay here longer than expected.
Take care of him then, Dr. Reed. People here only seem to focus on contagious patients. I worry my poor Mortimer will be neglected.
What can you
It's a disgrace. How on earth can patients be attacked in their own rooms?
Well, I mean, what can we do about that?
Goodbye, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Your medical report says you're not affected by the Spanish flu. What do you think of that, Mortimer?
Does it make me happy? Not in the slightest. If it was up to me, I would have left this place long ago. I know I don't belong here.
And why do you think you don't
Did he try and commit suicide?
Staff have more important things to do than look after me. There's plenty of patients here who need their attention.
So did he try and cut his no, I don't know.
What can you tell me about the recent
I had shouting coming from the first floor. I was asleep when it started.
I have to go now.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Well, what? Okay, 4, 4, 4. Maybe now you two will say something about this.
Good evening.
Yes. Now they will say something.
Is there anything you can tell me about the recent commotion here?
Many things can happen under cover of night, Dr. Reed. But I took no part in this massacre.
But did you see or hear anything?
I can't say I did. But the smell of fresh blood almost made me faint, Doctor.
I'll leave you.
She did not see anything. Did you see anything?
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening.
Can you tell me anything about recent events at the hospital?
Before the shouts and the noises, I think I heard whispers coming from the stairs. 2 voices, maybe more.
Did you recognize the voices? What did they say?
I couldn't hear. Sounded like they were arguing or something.
Goodbye.
From the stairs.
Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Everybody's afraid. Death has always been a frequent visitor.
But murder?
But murder?
That's something new.
How can we cope with that?
As a nurse at this hospital, it is your duty to deal with these things as best you can.
Yeah. Until it's my turn to have blood spread all over the walls. I entered the room first, Dr. Reed. I've seen what that monster did to the woman.
Goodbye, nurse.
Okay, but no one actually saw him do it. Like, that is like the conclusion we're coming up with. No one actually... Okay. Will you say anything about it now?
Oh, Jonathan. I cannot believe my eyes.
There we go.
Poor woman. Butchered by some savage scowl.
Can we share this meal? No, well, let's see. I'm partially responsible.
Yes, and I'm afraid I'm at least partially responsible. The man, the scowl, I brought him here.
Jonathan, how could you say such a thing?
Forgive me if I feel despondent. For there seems to be no end to the suffering and death that surrounds us.
I'm always here for you, Jonathan.
Okay, let's see. How do you know of Ascalon?
What do you know of Ascalon? I was threatened by a creature, a vampire in Whitechapel, stating I had to obey the law of conduct.
What more can you tell me about him?
He was huge.
He was bigger than a man. Huge, in fact. He seemed to radiate violence. I thought he was going to tear me apart. Then he vanished.
Fergal, the executioner of Ascalon. You were fortunate he was not after you, but rather out doing his master's bidding.
What is Ascalon?
The Ascalon Club are the most powerful vampires in Britain and exert tremendous influence. Take my advice and stay well away.
Yeah, that's the plan, but...
I have experienced a certain difficulty when faced with holy symbols or trying to enter religious buildings. Have you?
Now that's quite a question. I don't know why, but yes, it has happened to me.
Aren't you frightened?
Aren't you frightened?
Very little scares me, my dear. To be compelled to avoid symbols of faith does not concern me.
Is this a sign? A hand of God in action? Are we repellent unto heaven?
I don't have the answers, Jonathan. But I believe superstition and magic is just fact awaiting the lens of science.
Yeah, no, probably true. Have you killed this woman?
Have you embraced this woman? Like the other patient, this Mr. Renfield?
Her name was Amelia. And no, I did not kill her. I vowed a very long time ago that I would never take another life, unless they ask.
Alright, let's see. Blood quality of the sick.
Is there sufficient vitality in the blood of the sick and dying patients?
Yes, Jonathan. The hunger gnaws at me every waking hour. Frankly, I'm starving.
Temptation surrounds us. Rich, vital. How can you resist?
Over the years, any pleasure I once gleaned from feeding is long gone. I drink for sustenance. And though I still thirst for more, I restrain myself.
Alright.
Thank you, my lady.
I'm just so surprised that I haven't find out barely anything from those two. Okay, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Someone killed Miss Jones in her room, and Mr. Hampton's gone missing. Doesn't take a genius to piece it together.
You don't seem shocked by any of this.
Why should I be? Whoever did this must be long gone by now. And besides, he got rid of the old bag.
Alright.
Goodbye, Milton.
Like, she was a piece of shit, so...
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed.
Can you tell...
It's a tragedy, pure and simple. The hospital is meant to be a safe haven to all. We failed the people who trusted us with their care.
Do you think I should not have brought Mr. Hampton back here?
It's not your fault. You rescued that poor soul. It was the Christian thing to do. But we should have noticed his instability.
Goodbye.
Oh, where did she go? Well, I mean, I guess I kind of got the gist of her. Oh, hello. You two are standing next to each other now. Hello, Oswald. Let me heal your
Good
headache.
evening. Do you need med...
Don't get me wrong, sir.
I'm certain you have your reasons. But let me assure you, I'm not like other doctors you may have consulted with.
It is true. You risked your life to save me, after all. It would be impolite to refuse your counsel.
Goodbye, Miss...
Should be grateful for his luck instead of taking out his frustrations on everyone.
Find Sean Hampton at the East End Docks. Let's do that. And I'm not going to... Oh, Jesus Christ, you scared me. Oh my god.
Filthy piece of shit!
Use the hacksaw. And you know what? Let's use our new pistol as well. Oh, what? It said 0 out of 16, and then I pressed the button to reload and he starts shooting. God damn it. Like, god fucking damn it, of course. Okay, let's see, can I now go to... Oh, hello. You know what? Let's take you out first.
Stupid bitch! Take it, take it! Put an X.
Oh, damn it. Nice. I can't jump up there. Huh. Okay. I would assume that's something I would be able to do. I mean, it's even showing me that there is a path through here, but I guess it's like maybe a story thing. Got it. Yeah, okay.
Shit, that leech is fast!
Yes, I'm very fast. But I don't think I've been here either, so I mean, this is the episode of main missions and exploring.
Steady, boys, we've got them! It's on us! Don't like that, do ya? No!
Damn. There we go. Go to bed. Oh.
This is despicable.
Sorry, mouse. Did not mean to eat you. Okay, so this is a hideout. The Vampyr Club. Glass vials. Aluminium powder. Shillings. Bed. And let's go to our crafting table. And let's see. Lead plate, lead stick, and lead rods. Okay, so not worth it. At least I figured it out. That not worth it. Let's see, serums. Yeah, I think the health and blood serums are the two I want right there. So
it's locked.
Okay. Ah, and this is closed as well.
It's locked, all right.
Hello? Wait, if I jump... Okay, I jump back. To the Pembroke Hospital, okay. So remember that I can jump to that boat and get there very fast. I'm saying that to myself, obviously. And then if I'll remember it, oh god. Most likely no, not. I mean, my memory is horrific. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of screws and grease. 10. Okay. Like, you're trying to be smart, huh? Trying to parry me. Oh man, that was a good parry. Oh, whoops. Didn't after me to heal myself.
Heartens me to know you can't see me, my sweet queen. Perhaps we should have listened to what the idiot had to say first.
So when he's standing there, you cannot talk to him. He's like in a trance of his own thoughts and emotions.
Foolish girl and her pre-principles. She's got no idea who she's dealing with.
Okay, yeah, gather information about Sean Hampton, but I'm not gonna do that in this episode. Maybe we can talk to you before I go into your mother's house.
Good evening, Mr. Fishburne.
Yeah.
Any chance you can help me find Sean Hampton?
The sad saint. Why would you talk to that cunt?
Actually, that's confidential.
Really? Well, go ask someone else then. I'm sure Tom Watts will gladly answer you.
Alright, thank you for that.
Goodbye, Mr. Fishburne.
Oh, was that the save feature that came up after I talked to him? You know, let me talk to you and see if that comes up.
Evening, Rufus.
After I exit.
Do you know a man who lives in this part of town? A man named Sean Hampton. I'm looking for him.
Sorry, sir. I don't know a lot of folks around here. Most prefer to avoid me.
Well, I don't think you should talk to him. He may be very sick.
Thanks for the tip. You might want to check the Turquoise Turtle. It's a pub not far from here. The barkeep knows everyone in these parts.
Alright, let's see.
So long, Rufus.
Be careful.
Be careful. Take care.
No. Okay. Well then, let's go into this building.
Good evening, Mrs. Fishburne.
Of course. I'm not sure the epidemic is what worries people most these days. What can I do for you?
I want you to talk about Sean Hampton.
I'm trying to locate Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where he could be?
You talking about the one everyone calls the sad saint? The man who takes care of the homeless?
The very same, Miss Fishburne.
I'm sorry. I don't know where his shelter is. But if you ask around, I'm sure you'll get your answer.
Alright,
Goodbye, Miss Fishburne. Take care of yourself.
And it's kind of like, Fishburne, I do not want to kill you before I kill your son. I think you, your son, and maybe even that Rufus kid. I think I have you guys in my sights for, you know, experience. And maybe, I mean...
It's locked.
She might have, you know, some info on her son in that kid. So I assume it is now auto-saved. Maybe this is where Sean Hampton lives, since it's a close thing. Oh. No, maybe that's Rufus' house. Oh well. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.